let's try to fill in that space, but we don't have to back up too many people to the complex. Before I tell you anything else, you have to remember throughout everything I'm going to say that the United States policy, please turn the flash off, sir. Some people are sensitive.
I thought I had, sorry.
Okay, no problem. All right. United States policy regarding the use of nuclear weapons is retaliatory only, which means we would have had to have detected incoming missiles before you even think about launching Titan. And back in the time of Titan, we had 15 minutes warning from the time they were detected coming over Canada until they started impacting the United States. So these facilities were built that in mind. These facilities are hardened to withstand anything short of a direct hit from a hydrogen bomb. Now what's a direct? Floors and ceilings are at least 5 feet thick. There's a Forrester rebar inside this concrete, and most of that rebar is number 18, roughly the same size as those handrails, solid steel, spaced 30 to 50% more closely than a normal construction, with many more layers than a normal construction. So when you fill that full of blast door 7, the two of them form a blast lock. Looks like an airlock in a spacecraft or a submarine. Normally the doors are always closed and they're configured so only one can be opened at a time. Now in the video, and they're all pretty much unpleasant. First one happens at the speed of light at the instant of detonation. Big pulse of energy comes flying out in all directions, called the electromagnetic pulse. The only thing that wants to do is fry everything electrical or electronic. So to protect our facility, the entire outer surface, I'm pointing at welds here. You can see welds in the skin. That's because the outer skin of the whole complex almost is steel plate that in hundreds of places is grounded to the earth, and that makes a Faraday shield around everything inside. It just dumps all that EMP into the earth. Then you've got heat and radiation. When you detonate a thermonuclear weapon, it generates a temperature 10 times hotter than the surface of the sun. And most people are familiar with the radioactivity from nuclear weapons. You really don't need the fancy building. If you're inside anything 35 feet underground outside the direct hit area, that 35 feet of Arizona soil has all the protection you need to be adequately safe from the radiation and the heat. You need a big fancy building for the blast shock. You saw examples of that in the video, I'm sure everybody. Go ahead. Alright, so we now have Captain Kozan here. So come on in, everyone. I'm here. 1978, the United States finally came to its senses and said, wait, we got to give them a chance, and women took that chance. The very first positions approved for female participation by the Department of Defense were as members of Titan missile combat crews. Remain fairly stable. It's going to rock and roll a bit, but it's not going to be enough to spill Captain Kozan's coffee or knock her Winston out of her ashtray over here. It was 1963. You could smoke in here. Different world. Now, remember when I pointed out the air supply in there that was supposed to be, once you were satisfied, then your deputy prepared a document that you signed, and that says you literally own this entire complex for the 24 hours of your alert. You're responsible for everything that happens. So you need to know what's going on, okay? And this tells you, this is like the dashboard on your car. You turn that key, there are thousands of things happening, but you don't know anything about any of them unless you get lights like these two that tell you things are okay, or if something breaks, then you get an alarm, okay? The bottom row, all facilities items, fire alarms, things like that. You can actually open and close gates and things with this one. The next row here is all about the missile. IGS is its inertial internal guidance system. And then the RV they're talking about over, yeah, our missile has an RV. It's in Arizona. Why should it be any different than anybody else? But this is not a Winnebago. All right, this is the re-entry vehicle that protects the weapon during its 60.4 cycles per second, which means the launch clock is running fast like it always does. But all of that power goes to that room below us where it goes through some power conditioning equipment, and it comes back up here as 28-volt direct current, which is what powers the commander's console, deputy's console over here. Everything you see in the seafoam green is all 28-volt direct current because our missile is an aircraft, and aircraft systems run on 28-volt DC power. Now, the Air Force, I was joking, the Air Force knew the power was gonna be unreliable. We have a huge generator out in the silo. It would fill this whole room, 350 kilowatt output, more than enough to power everything that's here. And it starts up instantly when there's a power bump at this transfer switch. It's already got the hair on the back of your neck standing up, and it had nothing to do with that beep, beep, beep sound. That happened at least 24 times a day, but after that is a code that lets you know what kind of message is following the beep, beep. Turn it as far as it'll go, watch the light next to it, let me know as soon as it's on.
It's on.
All right, release the key, sit back. I'd say relax, but you couldn't do that right now. And the other thing you can't do is you can't stop this. Do you see an oops button here anywhere? I didn't mean to do that, I want to know. This is an automated launch sequence. We knew that we would have had to have been attacked, and if we could interrupt it, so could the enemy. So this is going to happen, all right? They've already initiated World War III. We told them we would complete it if they started it. First light, launch enabled, the missile has checked itself, it's good to go. That code is correct. The next light is batteries activated. That's because the onboard power supply in the missile being charged for the first time. When that happens, we're going to get the app power light. The silo door is rolled open, it's going through the tipsy beams up there. That's the only way that we know the silo door is open. Next light is silo soft, which means the door is open, our missile is...
Yeah, that'll be really the part where he was me.
That wall is 8 feet away. That wall is 8 feet thick, the same construction I described before, and all that aluminum you see in front of you is a real Titan missile. That's not a model or a mock-up. This was the only point to get into the silo back in the day, but the museum installed 2 other windows over here, and these actually give you a better look because you can look down. Remember where we are. When we walked in, I told you we're on level 2 of the complex. Well, we're still on level 2 of the complex, but now we've entered the silo. The silo has 8 levels in it. They are all of the other levels are below us. The center area called the launch duct has 9 levels. There's more than 110 feet of stuff below where you're standing right now. In fact, from this center window, if you look down in between the O and the R and the word Air Force, you see a color change in the skin of the missile. All right, that's the separation. That's where the first stage ends and the second stage starts. That first stage that you're looking at the very top of, down that tunnel or down that launch duct, is 70 feet tall. And you have to look down to see the top of it. All right, that's how big this thing is. Now, the first stage engine produces 430,000 pounds of thrust, which is enough to tear that thing to shreds inside that little teeny silo it's sitting in. 430,000 pounds of thrust is the same amount of energy as 2 Boeing 747s at full throttle at the end of our runway before takeoff. If you can imagine the noise from one jet engine that size in a space that small, with that missile. And by the way, if you look at the A in Air Force on our missile, you're looking at the skin of the missile, which at that point is 1 millimeter thick aluminum. That's the thickness of a dime. This thing will not survive its own noise, so the noise had to be reduced. And if you can, those of you over here, if you want to come over. We actually delayed test launches of Titan II missiles because we wanted those fishing trawlers to be in exactly the right spot to get the best view of that missile work. All right, that's what established and maintained its deterrence. But we're going to head back topside. I'm going to share a little more information